To us, magic sounds like this extraordinary thing, pulling a rabbit out of the hat, coming out of nowhere. But it's here, it's real, and the more that we are open to the unseen, to the energies of this world, to abundance and manifesting, to calling in and growing, the more we'll be able to call magic into our lives. Join me as I share stories, wisdom, and curiosity around connecting with your higher frequency, tapping into the synchronicities of the universe, and opening up to the unseen possibilities that this world has to offer. I am your host, Dayna Faye, and this is the Ordinary Magic Podcast. Hello and welcome to Ordinary Magic. I'm your host, Dayna Faye, and I'm so excited to be here. The day is finally here. The podcast is ready to be birthed into the world. And on our episode today, I really wanted to share this that is actually from quite a few months ago. I'm actually talking into the mic about ordinary magic. I didn't even know if that was really going to be an episode. I just wanted to practice on the mic. But we wanted to share this episode with you guys so you can see the process. A lot of people look to creative projects that are finished, they're very polished and put together. And then maybe that makes us feel insecure that we don't feel like we could do something like this. So this episode is raw, it's real, it's kind of just my thoughts in the moment on what is ordinary magic? What do people want to hear? What are stories and wisdom and lessons that I've walked through that I'll be able to share with others? And then what else am I curious about that maybe other people are curious about as well? So as you listen to this episode, please let me know what's coming up for you. Like, what do you want to hear about in regards to bringing magic into your everyday life? I want this podcast to be help. I want it to help you on your journey as you're discovering that and unlocking higher levels of consciousness. And I also want it to motivate you and to make you feel hopeful on those days when the current news, the current climate, the current hard things you're walking through in regards to your career, your relationships, parenthood, all those things. I want this podcast to make you feel I want it to be a reminder that we are still so incredibly connected. We are so connected. And that if we can create more magic and call in higher levels of frequency and consciousness, and we'll get into that if you don't know what that means, that's totally fine, that we can bring more levity and ease to our life. And that's super exciting. And let me tell you, I need that. I'm not sharing this because I was able to do that. I'm not sharing on the other end. I am in it. I am deeply in it. And I am so excited to walk this path with you guys and kind of just see what we can uncover and what we can remind ourselves, because truly, I think we forget every day how magical each day can be, and how can we shake up our routines, and how can we touch base with our loved ones and just feel a lot more connected. Because the more connected we are with each other, the better this world will be. It really will be. I'm just so excited for you guys to hear this episode of me talking about conceiving, being pregnant with ordinary magic. So happy birthday to Ordinary Magic. It is officially birthed today, April 19th, 2023. And I'm just so pumped. Okay, I'm sitting down to record something and I'm lost for words all of a sudden, even though it was all in my head. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about ordinary magic. I mean, I think that's what we're going to call this podcast. I believe Jamie, my producer, is the one that came up with the name, and it just stuck right away. We didn't really have a name brainstorming meeting or anything. She brought it up and I was like, yes. And since then, I've just been gestating on it. And I called her the other day and was like, guess what? I just realized I am pregnant with ordinary magic. Like, this creative project feels to me right now similar to my pregnancy that I've experienced before, where we were kind of in that first trimester of conception. we're just figuring out what it's going to be. And the only way to figure that out is to start recording. So I've been recording these little shorts of whatever's on my heart or going through my emotions. And what I want is for the listeners to come in when it's right for them, when they are on my fractal, on my page. And when I can be an assistance to them for maybe their spiritual awakening. And I don't even like saying that word. It puts a lot of pressure on us, but I'm just going to say an assistance to them to their self-awareness. That's what spiritual awakening is. It's becoming very self-aware that you are not just this body with, your heart and your organs and your mind and all those things. You are a soul in this human body. And you don't have to be doing all the spiritual tools in order to learn that. You can literally pick one that suits you best, have discipline around it, and watch your world change. And that's what I want to bring with Ordinary Magic. I love those two words together. I just love it because it's like ordinary and magic. And magic is this thing that we were told as kids is not real. But yet for some reason, most of us are fascinated with it. We loved Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. We loved the invisible. We loved seeing things we couldn't see. We loved playing make-believe when we were little kids. And then somehow along our journey, we were disillusioned to it. And then life happens and you learn what an ego is, maybe in your early 20s, and you have a few trip-ups and you have an awakening. And then you start being aware of yourself and aware of your ego. And you start having this spiritual awakening that makes you realize that it's real. And the more that we are open to the unseen, to the energies of the world, to abundance, to manifesting, to calling in, to growing, the more that you'll be able to call magic into your life. And then we can make that magic ordinary. Another spin I like on these two words is that everybody is so incredibly magical. Everybody has their lane of genius. Everybody is so incredibly unique. And as a human design reader, that is the message I'm always trying to get across, because every time I look at a chart, I am like, wow, here's two energy types that are the same, but they're so incredibly different when you go down the many layers of human design in their chart. And to really show people that you are so magical. You are so unique. You have so many interesting gifts that only you can bring into this world. And when you bring those gifts into this world, you create magic. You create this light that just lifts up everybody around you because they are watching you just stay in your lane of genius. And that is freaking extraordinary. That is magic. So that's the magic part is the whoa. And then the ordinary is well, the human ego condition is that we all kind of just want to fit in. At the end of the day, we just want to be ordinary. It's such a paradox because we all want to tap into our highest alignment. I mean, at least most of us do. We want to grow. A lot of us see that as the purpose of life, to experiment, to investigate, to taste test everything, to see, to learn from your wins, but also your losses. At the same time, we're all about community and fitting in. We just want to be ordinary. But the problem is we're all really freaking magical. So we're this, I hope other people think this is blowing their mind as much as it's blowing my mind. But I'm yes, I have been nervous to share my out there experiences, my spiritual awakening, my psychic hits, my interests, that my interests are usually about things that people are not that into. And I want to explore all those things. And I want to bring more magic to this world. I also want to bring more magic to just the, quote, boring, everyday things in life. For example, I'm a real estate agent. Sometimes in real estate, things can be boring. But one time, I was helping my buyer. We just saw a house. And when I drove back to the office, I got out of the car and there was a playing card on the ground. I don't see playing cards on the ground that often. I thought I better turn this card over because I play with numbers a lot with the universe, give me a sign. So I flip the card over and it's a 7. Doesn't mean anything to me. I don't really work with 7s that often. And we put an offer in on the house. We got the house and I just knew we were going to. And I ended up getting on the phone with the seller's agent later that day. And I said, you know what? I just have to tell you, today I found a card on the ground and I flipped it over and it was a 7. And it doesn't mean anything to me, but I just thought, wow, we're going to get this house. And the seller's agent just gasped. And she said, that's my number. Like every jersey I had in high school had a 7 on it. Like that is my number. And I just smiled. I just thanks. Thank you, universe, for giving me such a hug, for being cheeky with me, and for helping me believe more in the ordinary magic that can happen in your day-to-day life. I'm just really excited for where this podcast is going to head. We have a lot of work to do in regards to growing this baby, though. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I invite mine and Jamie's guides, angels, anyone of a higher frequency who is wanting to help us birth this podcast. So angels of the podcast, please help us grow this podcast, dream it up, and then birth it out and allow it to land on the people that need to hear it the most. Allow us to be the pathfinders and to light the paths of these beautiful beings that will be listening to us. Thank you so much. Now it is Ordinary Magic's birthday. And I love birthdays. So every time I say that, I'm geeking out because you heard in this episode, I was kind of pregnant with Ordinary Magic. It was conceived and then it was gestating. And now today it is birthed and it's its own thing. It's its own entity. And I'm excited to be the host of it and also to connect with more people. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. Let me know what you thought. As I was talking about Ordinary Magic, let me know what you want to hear about. Nothing is off limits. We are going to talk all things magic, all things energy, the universe, astrology, human design, full moons, connecting, people's spiritual awakenings, grief, love, emotions. We are going to dive deep and I can't wait, but I also can't do this without you. So send me a message on Instagram. My handle is Dayna, Dayna Faye, Faye. And I am so excited to communicate and to bring new knowledge, new information, new stories, new wisdom, new things to this world. Ordinary Magic is a Lit Path Studios podcast and is produced by Jamie Gale and Dayna Faye. Music is by Shane Ivers. Until next time, I wish you many powerful moments of ordinary magic.